we will explore how to sound more fluent and expressive in English. Learn stronger adjectives to replace very plus adjective. Can you think that how many times do you say very in a day? Firstly, we will speak about why avoid very. Very is correct, but overused. Stronger words make your language colorful. Instead of very happy, say thrilled. At the end of our video, you will upgrade your vocabulary. Let's learn powerful vocabulary alternatives to very. Very good. You can say excellent instead of very good. For example, she is a very good student. She is an excellent student. And we have some synonyms: superb, outstanding. You can use them instead of very good also. And now we have some activities at the every slide, at the end of every slide. For example, write 3 very good sentences. Then, very bad. You can use terrible or awful instead of very bad. For example, the movie was very bad. The movie was terrible. We have a question here. What terrible thing happened recently? Now try to answer this question. Pair up and use terrible in a short dialogue. Then, very tired. You can use exhausted instead of very tired. For example, I feel very tired. I feel exhausted. You can use also these synonyms instead of very tired. For example, drained or worn out. Now act out and exhausted expressions. Very cold. You can use freezing instead of very cold. For example, it is very cold. It is freezing. You can use also this negative and question form. It is not freezing or is it freezing? You can use also these synonyms instead of very cold. For example, icy, bitterly cold. Now we have a group task. Try to describe a cold day. Then, very hungry. You can use starving or famished instead of very hungry. For example, he was very hungry. He was starving. You can also use this sentence negative and question form. For example, was he starving or he wasn't starving? Miming starving, fen activity. And here we have common phrase. I am starving. Then, very happy. You can use thrilled or overjoyed instead of very happy. For example, he was very happy. He was thrilled. You can see here emoji scale 2. And we have creative task. Draw a thrilled moment. Look at this picture. Here we can see a footballer. He is thrilled. Then, very big. You can use enormous or massive instead of very big. For example, that animal is enormous. Or, the elephants are enormous. You can use also massive. For example, massive thanks, great thanks. Now find 3 enormous things around you. Then, very small. You can use tiny instead of very small. For example, the insect was tiny or ants were tiny. seeds were tiny. Try to use tiny in a sentence. Then, very scared. You can use terrified or petrified instead of very scared. For example, he was terrified. Repeat after me. He was terrified. You can also say it's negative or question form. Was he terrified or he wasn't terrified? Now try to tell a short scary story using the word. Very slow. You can use sluggish instead of very slow. For example, my old computer is sluggish. Now try to describe a sluggish Monday. Then, very clean. You can use spotless or immaculate instead of very clean. For example, her room is spotless. Before and after cleaning, her room is spotless. You can use immaculate into sentence. Then, very dirty. You can use filthy or grimy instead of very dirty. For example, his house was filthy. Now we have a task. List 5 more filthy things. Then, very easy. You can use effortless or simple instead of very easy. For example, the quiz was effortless. The quiz was effortless. You can also say it's question and negative form. For example, was the quiz effortless or was the quiz simple? And answer, the quiz was effortless or the quiz wasn't effortless. Now try to write very easy phrase. Then, very difficult. You can use challenging and tough instead of very difficult. For example, the task was challenging. The task was challenging. You can ask this sentence question. Was the task challenging? If yes, you should say the task was challenging. If not, the task wasn't challenging. Now we have a question here. What's the hardest about English? Try to answer this question. And here, very angry, you can use furious or enraged instead of very angry. Look at this picture. She was furious or she is furious. Now we have a game. Match emotion to emoji. Then, very interesting. You can use fascinating or captivating instead of very interesting. We have 2 pictures here. In this side, the view is fascinating, but the other is not fascinating. We have a question here. What did you learn from this video? Lots of new adjectives. Now we have practice activity. Fill in the blanks with strong adjectives. For example, very shy, we wrote timid. And the other synonyms, you should research and fill in the blanks. Very strange, you can use peculiar instead of very strange. Very fast, you can use rapid instead of very fast. Very noisy, you can use deafening instead of very noisy. Very old, you can use ancient instead of very old. And very funny, you can use hilarious instead of very funny. Research the other synonyms and fill in the blanks. Now create 3 flashcards. Then, summary. Use stronger adjectives instead of very. Create a mini booklet of alternatives. And then, try a no very day. We have a bonus slide here. Try to create a no very zone poster and share your best sentence there. At that time, we will have a prize, emoji crown. That's all. Thank you for your attention.